want to change and reform, you need a clear vision, and that is going to be provided by leadership, and therefore set out a roadmap in terms of how you are going to achieve it. In our setting, we set up a roadmap for digitalization and said, look, we've got to put in place the pillars. First of all, let's have a national ID. Let's make sure there's every part of the country has a digital address, because that is the way we thought we could use GPS technology to deal with the addressing challenge, which we did. So every part of the country, every property has a digital address. Let's make sure everybody has a bank account. That is a clear goal. And we said, okay, most people have mobile money accounts. Let's make it interoperable with bank accounts. So we implemented mobile money interoperability. And therefore, we're able to accomplish that particular goal, that you have financial inclusion. And therefore, as a result, we are not only the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa, we are also #1 in Africa in terms of access to financial inclusion, because we've been able to put the fintechs, the telcos, and the banks on one common platform. It wasn't easy to do because these are competitors, but we had to convince them that it was in their collective interest to be on one platform and compete on that platform, rather than try to set up separate platforms as you have in many other countries. So we did that, and then we said, let's digitalize government services. Then we proceeded. And all of this we've done in this period of 6 years. But because there's been a focus, and I was given the responsibility to drive this from the Office of the Vice President, because we need a broad sectoral participation in this. So we bring all the ministers together, all the agencies together.
Here, the city has appreciated in value. When we came in, it was running. Essentially, we have arrested it. And the IGP has the key. She's locked it up. We've arrested it.
The appreciation of the city that we have seen recently. I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city, they cannot tell you one that has been implemented, not sort of talked about, but actually implemented. They cannot tell you one such policy. They only passed their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact yet. For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. Bank of Ghana had bought $5 billion worth of gold. After all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons. Secondly, you've mentioned that the US dollar itself is on the decline globally. And that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground, also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening in the US with all of that. So I think those are, and then there's the third element, is that they are not spending. I mean, if you are managing an economy, you have to pay your bills. They are not paying IPPs, for example. This is why the doomsday is so acute. And they are not paying contractors. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. So those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency.
The Ghanaian cedi, which depreciated by 19.2% in 2024, has shown signs of recovery appreciating by 3.9% against the US dollar by the end of April 2025. This has been supported by stronger forex inflows, improved trade balances, and growing investor confidence. Our gross international reserves have improved further from $8.98 billion in December 2024 to $10.6 billion by April 2025. This is equivalent to almost 5 months of import cover. This reflects enhanced export earnings, particularly from gold and non-traditional exports, as well as timely disbursements from our multilateral partners. Fiscal consolidation is underway. We reduced the fiscal deficits on commitment basis from 7.5% of GDP in 2024 to 6.4% in the first half of 2025. And we're on track to meet our 2025 target end year of 3.1% through expenditure rationalization, improved domestic revenue mobilization, and strong anti-corruption measures. These figures, though early in the year, are clear signs of a disciplined and inclusive economic recovery. This forum presents us with a unique opportunity to unlock the synergies between European capital and Ghana's natural resource potential. The EU's experience in technology transfer, environmental standards, and precision manufacturing is a natural complement to Ghana's youthful population. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement opens up opportunities to reach a market of 1.3 billion people on the African continent with a combined GDP of more than $3 trillion. I invite EU investors to explore opportunities in the following areas. 1, in agro-industrial zones, integrated value chains for cocoa, cashew, shea nuts, spices and ginger, and vegetables, where EU expertise in food safety standards and packaging can add immediate value to Ghana's products. The Ghanaian cedi, which depreciated by 19.2% in 2024, has shown signs of recovery, appreciating by 3.9% against the US dollar by the end of April 2025.
Come my room. Like hey, like I've never seen anything like this in my life before.
What now? What matter to friends or what? And they say a punch first one, no should be no more you're free. So I had out it, Anna. And to see a punch you hold. Well, friends on the moon, soon you're quite PR bunting.
It's no way to it's still one to trip it, no hanging out.
Okay.
They are horse or hands
a firm. So that at you once when I am more, until I had them to
more until I had an into me.
Okay.
Until just a chill what they're in our train and son hand it to me.
Hey, and shouldn't say, yeah, and shouldn't soon say something, but I told you more. And shouldn't giant to my aqua inside. Yeah. Medina come a drink, say, Ben, so receive blank and soon, and queer pea cacra. Oh, fine, sir. Hey. Yeah. Who can know how cry? Who can share to one? Into Kwashe. Okay.
Wake up! I go slap you, you go see. Hey, wake up! This is how should be clear. Sister, leave me now. Sister! Sister, leave me now. Sister! That's fine. We did two things. Yeah. What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
All right, good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Good Morning Ghana. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of May, 2025. This is the day indeed that the Lord has made, and indeed we're glad in that. We're back again to join the nation's conversation, what's happening in our dear country, Ghana. My name is Awudu Moro. Thank you very much for tuning in to the show. I know you love your Good Morning Ghana. You don't play with your Good Morning Ghana. You don't joke with your Good Morning Ghana. This show is also live on 94.1 FM. That's on your radio dial. So please tune into 94.1 FM. It doesn't have a name again for now. So once you tune in, you'll be able to monitor. You are free to, leave the comfort of your home and monitor the conversation on your radio dial. So I kickstart with the front page of the newspapers. The Daily Graphic this morning is reporting that governor explains economic gains, and it comes to the picture of the governor himself, Dr. Johnson Pandete-Siema, who's the governor of the Bank of Ghana. CJ impeachment, Supreme Court throws out another injunction. Removal of beggars, GIS repatriates 925 people. Arrest put on hold for lack of space. The Ghanaian Times. Interior Minister flags 338 conflict hotspots nationwide. Don't restrict cash payments, Professor Kwate. Kwashiorkor still ravages children after 92 years of its discovery. Daily Guide. Minister directs Lands Commission to decentralize operations. Mahama car gift undermine ethics code, Transparency International. CJ Tokono sues government over suspension. Wants 2 judges restrained. Cozy visits Adentan flood victims. University Senior Staff Association declare indefinite strike. We beg you, please go back to the classroom. Anyway, Mahama orders halt to sale of government lands amid probe into questionable land deals. Agric Minister laments Africa's 1% share of global chocolate markets despite massive raw beans exports. Leaked letter pops up on Odaifio Wellenche, the third attempted role to Leo English Alata, acting president, to sign CD forms. $2 million SkyTrain case, ages charges, days MPP's American. Christian Divine Church boils over power struggle. Leaders call for IGP intervention on suspected police complicity. Massive corruption scandal rocks NATO. Multiple countries launch investigations into US-led alliance. The New Republic. CJ family bag juicy contracts in shady deals. Commuters hail new AMA boss as traffic nightmare eases in Accra. Buedu's ghost back to haunt mother accuses Bawumia of betrayal and lies. Mahama vows to tackle Accra flooding crisis. And there's a CD drama. MPP Bawumia sing different tunes as Mahama government hails miracle performance. Daily Post. Gertrude Tokono files injunction against 5-member committee probing her removal. The CD's comeback. A call for fair pricing in Ghana. Don't panic. CD stability will continue. BOG assures. Supreme Court dismisses suit seeking reversal of Tokono's suspension in 4-1 verdict. In the Business and Financial Times, April producer price inflation drops to 18.5%. NTE dips 2.87% in 2024. Mahama woos EU investors for opportunities in high-growth value chains. BOG overhauls monetary tools in a bid to boost credit, improve transmission. And as GRA doubles down on AIML to combat tax leakages as former finance minister warns reforms alone are not enough. That's it for the front page headlines of today's newspapers. I'll be back shortly.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business With Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oh yiwa. Enye mo ko. Give us JC lecture and the capsules. Aye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be boa wukuru. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya ne nti sese ne oyi chokmo. GC mixture and a castle.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Quada when you feel to me.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, as some more.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Freddy Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Freddy once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain was key to double the action. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Freddy Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso.
Come tum preko.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calcate Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calcates. Happy smile.
Where to get polytank?
Oh, and you're up.
Go straight.
Oh, I want left, right.
That's right. Ghana na ye wono. So when you do more, any data. Oh no! I beg, na here. Me pe polytank ato. Enu tin ka menu aba otu pe bia me na ba hayo. O food pe bia, e say enjoy ye kura.
Akuya bulambu kotoman. Emu ha.
Like they take took my eyes. Go to the distributor and you give the original polytank. You get a sound?
Polytank. Papananka Sankasa.
Did you know you can make money every day on the Wanna Own game app? Here is how to play and win. Watch Wanna Own on Entertainment Review every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on Metro TV. Scan the code for access, select a game and play away. There's money to make on Wanna Own. What are you waiting for? Wanna Own, more money every day. Endorsed and accredited by NLA.
Hey Ghana! Hey Accra! We're the maiden edition. Walk in your Jesse, Ignite Sports, and Yade Bramo, Paso Saturday, 24th of May, 2025. Yashasi, our Akramo, Niakakobia, Center Point Mall, our Atomic Junction, Shannon Zone, Ignite Sports.
Team Bain, our supporting Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Inter, Anase, FC Barcelona. And yeah, show Jesse. Na brasia eye walk in your Jesse yenina yenhia Jesse niemra nienantimo
eti yetu yesa de frɛ asɔre akuo enyina Keep Fit Club anase suku ahodo enyina ye hyase ɛwɔ shopping mall Accra ye hyase na ye dia kopem ɛwɔ Center Point
eye walk in your Jesse we taking over.
The city has appreciated in value. When we came in, it was running. Essentially, we have arrested it.
The appreciation of the city that we have seen recently. I think one of the things that if you ask a simple question to the NDC to point out exactly what policy they have implemented that has resulted in the appreciation of the city, they cannot tell you one that has been implemented, not sort of talked about, but actually implemented. They cannot tell you one such policy. They only passed their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. You know, so you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. There's no such policy that has been implemented that has had that impact yet. For me, we had anticipated the impact of gold in this economy. I talked about it when we got into dire straits in 2022. Bank of Ghana had bought $5 billion worth of gold. After all the noise of the election, people are paying attention to our reserves. That is one thing, which we have built to 30 tons. Secondly, you've mentioned that the US dollar itself is on the decline globally. And that has also strengthened. If you go to Zambia, for example, the kwacha has gained a lot of ground also because you have the US dollar declining in value because of what is happening in the US with all of that. So I think those are, and then there's the third element is that they are not spending. I mean, if you are managing an economy, you have to pay your bills. They are not paying IPPs, for example. This is why the doomsday is so acute, and they are not paying contractors. So when you are not spending, there's less pressure on your currency. So those are some of the reasons why you are seeing an appreciation of the currency.
The Ghanaian cedi, which depreciated by 19.2% in 2024, has shown signs of recovery, appreciating by 3.9% against the US dollar by the end of April 2025. This has been supported by stronger forex inflows, improved trade balances, and growing investor confidence. Our gross international reserves have improved further from $8.98 billion in December 2024 to $10.6 billion by April 2025. This is equivalent to almost 5 months of import cover. This reflects enhanced export earnings, particularly from gold and non-traditional exports, as well as timely disbursements from our multilateral partners. Fiscal consolidation is underway. We reduced the fiscal deficits on commitment basis from 7.5% of GDP in 2024 to 6.4% in the first half of 2025. And we're on track to meet our 2025 target end year of 3.1% through expenditure rationalization, improved domestic revenue mobilization, and strong anti-corruption measures. These figures, though early in the year, are clear signs of a disciplined and inclusive economic recovery. This forum presents us with a unique opportunity to unlock the synergies between European capital and Ghana's natural resource potential. The EU's experience in technology transfer, environmental standards, and precision manufacturing is a natural complement to Ghana's youthful population, abundant natural resources, and our strategic location in West Africa. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement opens up opportunities to reach a market of 1.3 billion people on the African continent with a combined GDP of more than $3 trillion. I invite EU investors to explore opportunities in the following areas. 1, in agro-industrial zones, integrated value chains for cocoa, cashew, shea nuts, spices and ginger, and vegetables, where EU expertise in food safety standards and packaging can add immediate value to Ghana's products.
You're live and good morning, Ghana on Metro Television. Let me say a big thanks once again for staying with us and being loyal to the show. Let me again say a big thanks to Politang, Papano, and Kasa. And Politang continues to remind you that please don't be deceived if you're looking for a durable tank, which is guaranteed quality-wise. Please go for Politang. You know, in Ghana, you can only get deceived if you're not sure of what you're buying, or you don't know what really is in the market. Now, when it comes to water storage tanks, the name we all know is Politang. It has been with us for over 30 years and has been trusted by all these generations. So make no mistake, always choose Politang for guaranteed quality. It's available at the same price across the country at Politang partner shops. So be it Rambo, Hippo, Sumo, Super Sumo, you can always be, assured that you can always be assured that the durability would always be there. So Politang, the original, always the best. Papano and Kasa. Politang does not request for Momo payments online. So buyers beware. Very, very important. So joining me this morning for, as usual, what promises to be a very, very interesting and a very intellectually stimulating conversation is the representing the NDC, Dr. Frederick Ntiamu.
Good morning.
Yeah, you were here, I guess, a month ago, and
yes,
you vanished small. You're a busy man.
I would say yes, because there are other things that you probably have to attend to. So I'm also glad to come and see you again.
No, it's totally understandable. It's totally understandable, It's my bread and butter, isn't it? Sure. It's totally understandable. Anyway, so joining us, the man who also took a bit of a break, he had to attend to some equally important issues, but he's back. Richard Ahiagba. Richard Ahiagba is the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party. Richard, good morning.
Morning, my brother.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have you join us on the show.
Pleasure.
But I hope you're fine.
I'm okay.
How's the party doing? How's the reorganization going?
Oh, the party is okay.
But Dr. Mahmoud Bamia has been very busy. Officially, is the thank you tour over?
No, We're just taking a break for the IDU and the engagement at Cambridge. So I think when he gets back, we'll continue, I think, with Greater Accra, Western, and the rest. We've got about...
so that's 3 more months. There are 3 more
about
regions to go.
3 or 4 more regions to go, I think. Yeah.
Okay. But when are you estimating to round everything up?
Oh, should be as soon as possible. I think when it gets back, maybe a day or 2 to reorganize and then get back on the road.
Get back on track.
I think it's about 3 regions: Eastern, Central, and Greater Accra.
Okay. But does he have any intentions of, for instance, visiting some other? So he was in the UK recently.
Yes. So I think the idea was in Brussels and then in
the UK.
Yeah.
So does he have any intentions of going to say some other European countries to thank them, or this is going to be restricted?
I don't know.
It's going to be restricted to Ghana.
I think it's local. It'll be good if he's done it, but then once the appreciation goes out from here, I think it touches everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it took opportunity whilst in England to engage with some of the party people. So I'm sure that a thank you in England to the UK branch would affect all the external branches, but there's no plan to tour.
He says something which appears to have won him some hearts, which is the rendering of an apology to Ghanaians and to the party people for some, what they call actions or inactions during the 80 administration of Nana Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo. But I also recall that when this whole thank you tour idea was mooted, in fact, when it started, there were others who thought that, for instance, Dr. Kennedy, who was of the view that instead of doing a thank you tour, it probably should have been, say, an apology tour. Is that where do you know, I don't know, because you don't speak for him, but do you know if that's where perhaps Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is drawing his inspiration from, or what he said about apologizing to both party and Ghanaians was something that he had already been doing?
Well,
why do you think it was necessary to do that?
Well, even with yourself, you argue, don't you?
True.
And
Absolutely.
so for people to have alternative views is normal. This morning, I'm sure you went back and forth between the best outfit to wear today.
Yeah.
So that's really...
That's of course you being one of my advisors as to where I'm grateful for that.
So people making suggestions as to apology, thank you, but it just doesn't make any sense to want to go on an apology tour. But then this whole thing was sanctioned by the National Council, something that the presidential candidate wants to do. National Council backed it, and so in the wisdom of National Council of our party, thank you tour is in order, and so that's what he's done. And I think that the discussions or the admissions on the tour as to apologize for actions, inactions. I think we're human, and then at all times, even with your best intentions, you wrong people. You rub people the wrong way just by trying to do right. And so even with yourselves, you disappoint yourselves day in, day out. So to make such admission and apology, I think that is just human to do that. And that doesn't warrant titling a tour like that an apology tour. No. The thank you is an appreciation tour, which I think that is in order, supported heavily by National Council. And so I think that it's been good. The challenges that you hear, you see, are just part of perfecting a process to do with people. And so I think that it's going well. I think once it's done, we'll take the next step.
All right. Do you know when?
If not, yeah. I think a good number of people are back in town already. So I think it should be back any day. Probably, there's a football match yesterday that is an ardent supporter of the Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, it's a Tottenham Hotspur supporter.
Nana Ado is also a supporter of Tottenham.
Yeah, Tottenham, yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that maybe after that, today or so, he'll be back in town, I think.
Okay, that's fine. Doc.
Yes, sir.
One of your fiercest opponents, the MPP, the man who led the party in the 2024 elections, he says that he's sorry. Are you ready to forgive him?
I think this is with Ghanaians.
Not you, but you're Ghanaian.
Yes, I'm a Ghanaian. But I think that to say you are sorry, it means that you know what you did wasn't right. So I will not fault him for coming out to say he's sorry. But what I have to say is that in the course of apologizing, he didn't just end there, but he made a lot of, blunders in terms of statement that he said, I'm sorry, I did A, B, C, but I think that in 2028, we may or we might come to power because something else. And I think along that line, everything has cancelled the sorry. Because if you say that you think that Ghanaians will vote for you in 2028, and because of NDC bringing a new candidate, I think, with all, sincerity, this is an insult. I would say it's an insult because...
But there's nothing wrong with saying that I've already been widely marketed. I am very popular. Ghanaians know me. It's my name is a household name. The NDC will come up with a new, fresh face, may not be as widely marketed, as popular as me as I am.
When he said it puts me in a brand new tier rubber. Brand new tier rubber, which means that he's never been on the road before, and so we should try him. So if he is saying that he's come before and coming again, if we bring a brand new cannot match, then it means what he was doing in 2024 and what he's going to do in 2028, there are two different opinions because he has always double standards about everything. But my side is the fact that telling Ghanaians that we don't know what is right, we cannot appreciate what is good from what is wrong. It means that the way you left the economy for us in 2024, before you left office, it doesn't matter. Since you've come and you are coming again, we will vote for you. It means, excuse me to say, greater majority of Ghanaians are not reasoning. It means that we voted for Nanado because he had been presented several times, and that is how Ghanaians had to accept him. This is not what to...
But Richard has just told you, of course, not in those exact words, but he's just suggesting to you that to err is human and to forgive is divine. Yeah. The man says he acknowledges his shortcomings, not as in him personally, but as an administration or as a regime. They acknowledge the shortcomings.
But that doesn't change the fact that he's a failed economic messiah. He's not been able to live up to expectation. You see, what he did in terms of our economy, there's nothing that can wipe that away with just an apology to say, I'm sorry. It was a human life. If you're a doctor and a client comes or a patient comes to your facility and out of negligence or you're not able to practice the kind of training you have been given and you lose that patient, you go and tell, and this is what happened with the Tamale issue. You come and apologize and say, I'm sorry, the life is gone, so give me another life to try. No, that is not what Ghanaians want. Okay. We want somebody with credibility. We want somebody who has a track record of doing what is right.
All right, so you're not prepared to accept his apology, maybe as a person, as an individual level. All right. Well, speaking about Dr. Mahmoud Bami, he's also made some comments. So it wasn't just about apology, but he's also been having a take on the state of our economy. And that comment has provoked all kinds of discussions. In fact, it's taken center stage as far as public discourse is concerned. If you look at today's daily graphic, for instance, you look at the front page, but even before this, we've heard the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, not exactly or directly responding to it, but within that frame of thought, said, sort of touted the credentials of his administration relative to the economy. Yeah. So you look at today's daily graph. Yes, the governor explains economic gains. It would not be far-fetched for anybody to say that the governor has had to, speak to this issue because of the raging, what I call tug of war between the two major political parties. So that's a daily graphic. So the story is by Timothy Ngwengwe. I hope I got the pronunciation of this man correctly. He's a prolific writer, except the surname, I've been struggling with. It's Ngwengwe. I hope I got it correctly. But anyway, he says the governor of the Bank of Ghana, BOG, Dr. Johnson Panditisiama, has asserted that the early signs of macroeconomic stabilization are largely the results of recent policy actions by the central bank, as well as improvement in external and domestic fundamentals. He said the decline in inflation to 21.2% last month had been shaped by a combination of monetary tightening, relative exchange rate stability, and easing of non-food inflation. In March this year, the committee responded decisively to the inflation by raising the policy rate by 100 basis points to 28%. Preliminary evidence suggests that this action has contributed to dampening. The story continues on page 2. So dampening inflation momentum, and importantly, the cedi has appreciated by nearly 19% between April and May, helping to ease imported inflation pressures and restoring public confidence, Dr. Siama said. Again, the governor stressed that the appreciation of the cedi reflected a combination of factors that include prudent monetary policy, improved market sentiment, and external sector gains. The Siama stated this at the opening of the 12th Monetary Policy Committee meeting in Accra yesterday. And he said apart from the mandated members of the MPC attending the meeting, 4 advisors appointed by the Central Bank as well as the President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Joseph Obeng, participated in the meeting. The 3 advisors are the Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs, Dr. John Kwache, the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor John Gachi, the former International Monetary Fund, resident representing Dr. Francis Kuma, and the Director at the Central Bank, Franklin. That's Bellinger. And we're told the MPC meeting is expected to, among others, assess monetary policy outcomes and impacts on the markets over the previous quarter and assess the outlook. Now, closely related to this, if you look at the New Republic, now the New Republic has has an interesting story, and that's on page 8. Now, it says CD drama, MPP, Bawumia sing different tunes as Mahama government hails miracle performance. Gifty Boateng is reporting that a seismic shift in Ghana's economic landscape has thrown the opposition New Patriotic Party into disarray as the Ghana cedi continues its impressive surge against the US dollar and other currencies. The surprising performance, a stark contrast to the MPP's 8-year tenure, has left party bigwigs, including former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, scrambling to offer explanations, often contradicting each other. For years, Dr. Bawumia was lauded as the MPP's economic wizard, yet his administration never achieved the currency stability now witnessed under the Dr. Atufossi and Dr. Johnson Siama-led economic team. After plummeting to 17 cedis to $1 in November 2024 under the MPP, the cedi was recently crowned the world's best performing. New Republic, it's factually not true. It wasn't 17. As at November, it was around 15 points, must have been 14, either 14.7 or 15 point something. 17 is obviously not true. It's not true. And I think you need to check that. After plummeting to $17, 17 cedis to $1 in November 2024 under the MPP, the cedi was recently crowned the world's best performing currency by Bloomberg, trading at 11.90 to $1 as of this report. Adding to the confusion, Dr. Bawumia is now attempting to claim credit for the cedi's appreciation, linking it to policies implemented during his time in office, particularly the opaque gold purchase and gold for oil programs, which the current government has since suspended. This stance, however, stands in stark opposition to the narrative spun by his own party communicators and the minority in parliament. They insist the cedi's gains are purely external, citing the now-ended U.S.-China trade war as the primary driver, a claim that raises eyebrows given the current global economic climate. Ironically, in 2017, Dr. Bawumia famously declared the cedi arrested and gave the key to the Inspector General of Police, David Asantepe, during a town hall meeting as assessing President Akufo-Addo's first 100 days. He boasted of 103 achievements, including bringing inflation down from 15.4% to 12.8% and restoring confidence in the macroeconomy. Yet today, the failed 2024 MVP presidential aspirant now argues the ruling NDC cannot tell you one policy they have implemented that has contributed to the cedi's rise. Speaking to the Young Executive Forum in London, he challenged the government's claim, stating they only passed their budget in March. They've not even issued any contracts and paid for anything, pretty much. So you cannot ascribe what is happening to the currency to a policy that they have implemented. So, Richard, is this necessary at all? Why should we be debating this at all? Isn't it too early?
Well, that's a thing you must probably advise the government about that. But as far as we are concerned, we want the economy to get better, we want Ghanaians to do well, Because if the economy is doing well, we're all going to do well. So there's really nothing much to quibble about, except when people are acting in ways that suppose that they want to reap what they have not sown. And I've been on programs with Professor Khalid, Professor Bokpin, and they're going around in circles trying to establish that we have done A, B, C, D. And I wonder what the hurry is. If they are not learning anything at all, our recent history should let them know that this rise and fall happens. And especially when there's a new government, you experience some of these things. And so I don't see the big high about it, except that the haste by the government to want to explain that he has done something extraordinary, which extraordinary thing they haven't been able to tell us. They turn around and point to gold, gold bond, and you look at it and say, what's there? It's like, oh, well, it's from Dr. Mahmoud Baumia's gold for reserve that is accumulated about 30.5 or so tons of gold since independence. If you take away that 8 ton that we had before, significant, about threefold increase. And so you expect that a government that is inherited a trajectory like that will build on it by adding more. But they are depleting what we have. And I just hope that they won't finish everything and be left with the bones, as their mantra always says. And I think that this government is going to struggle. It's going to struggle. The way they are proceeding is going to, well, you see, then the fact is that their struggle is not going to be their struggle alone, it's going to be the struggle and pain of Ghanaians. If you are a government that is coming on the back of very, very enticing promises that you have made, and you are inching to the first half of the year, into the second quarter, then your main ideas, you go to their manifesto, they talk about the 24-hour economy as an anchor of their fiscal policy. And so you ask yourself, where is that anchor? Where we are seated today, we are struggling with electricity, thanks to our Minister for Energy and Green Transitions. Every minute he'll come and scare us about how much crude we have left and how many hours before our light goes off. And I'm wondering if your 24-hour economy will survive. This is economy, daylight plus night. Where is the light? You don't have certainty about light. And what they seem to be doing is to blame the regime before it for all the challenges that they cannot resolve, and then thump their chest that, oh, just in 5 months, we have turned around the city. When you ask them about Galamsey, they say, oh, we just came 5 months ago, so these are big problems we can't solve. And then so you are left wondering, what kind of government is this? It's confused. When it's about problems they must solve, then they say, oh, we just came. When it's a glory that is cooked and is sitting out there, then they're thumping their chest, we did it. I said, that's to Professor Bokpin this way. And all the explanation is giving that they have done this, they have done that, and I'm wondering, where is it? They inherited an IMF program, which program prescribes fiscal consolidation. So all the things they are doing up and down, we are cutting expenditure and all of that. It's not as if you can decide to eat more than your stomach can take. I mean, it's built in. So the program is ring-fenced. You have to operate with a certain band. So what is the extraordinary thing they have done? Right now, as you and I speak, contractors are not being paid. Okay, the balance of these people are foreigners who have sublet contract to some Ghanaians and all of those, the big ones, right? And so when you begin to pay this once, you begin to see your smoothness level, right? As we addiction, you were trying to allude to between the minority and what the vice president is saying, or what our communicators.
It was reported by the paper.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you're trying to. I'm not saying you are making it up. There isn't any daylight between what we're saying and the vice president says, minority says. The external factor they refer to are just essentially the trade matters that are resulting in the weakening of the dollar. So that plays a significant role in the matter as we speak. So I want to hear, I want the professors they are deploying. You see, economics is basic. By the time you get to your masters and all of that, economy, you learn it, the aspect of it that affects our daily lives is actually learned with the first degree economics, even as SHS degree, basic demand and supply matters. Now, on the matter of them strengthening the city, okay, what have they done? The currency situation is about inflows and outflows. So when your inflows are more and your outflows are less, you have a balance, your currency is strong. When your outflows are more means that your currency, you are chasing after others, and so therefore your situation falters. What have they done in the area of export that has been exceeding? What we have seen is gold. Which gold that was due to our gold for reserve program. So exactly where? Where is the thing they have done? And if you see the balance of gold reserve, what NDC has added since coming to office is not equal to 1 ton. So exactly where is the thing? Where is the thing? And as a matter of policy, I want to even understand what's the strategy, because really this whole celebration of exchange rate being the city's strengthening is actually toward an import-dependent economy. You understand? When right now, one of the biggest problems between the US and China is largely because China manipulates its currency. That's the claim against China by the US, that China manipulates its currency to make it weak so that its exports to America are cheaper. So what is our strategy? If as a government your idea is 24-hour economy, a weak currency is actually better for you so you can drive export. They recently formed the Accelerated Export Board or something, right, which is part of their 120, the social contract. What is that board supposed to do? If you have a strong city, your import will be expensive. So then what is the policy alignment there? What are they celebrating? If your goal is to drive export and your currency is strengthening, UK, the reason their currency has been strong forever is because they are import dependent. And that's a matter of policy. So it's cheaper for them to import than to export. So they import vastly everything they consume. Now, so you need jobs for your people. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, you promised you want to do 24-hour economy, which must be production-led if we think about it properly. These other skirmishes that, passport office is appropriating 3-4, I don't get it. That's not what you promised. Because if all these young people must get job, it must be productive. The enterprise must add value. It must create value and wealth. So you cannot say that DVLA is doing this and so that's 24 hours. That's a non-starter. But we are looking for the 24-hour economy, which is production-led. Where is that one? And so when your currency becomes strong, you are weakening your position. You can't do that. So this whole thing we are celebrating and jumping up and down, what is the long-term picture? What are they trying to achieve? You understand? So apart from the fact that everything they are celebrating is on the basis of what was done ahead of time, and before you know it, I think 2023, if you remember that, when the budget was read, Kero Furata at the time indicated that we had turned the corner. And from then, the economy has been on a certain upward trajectory before they inherited it. And the close of year growth, about 5.7 GDP growth, and the expectation is that they build on it. And they have decided, I don't know if it's strategic or just whatever, decided to, estimate below expectation or improving on what they have inherited. But I'm saying that you had an economy that was on a path growing. I remember when we took over from them in 2017, their retort is that, oh, the 8.1% you got in 2017 is ours, even after a whole fiscal year. And
it was 8.5.
No, it's 8.5.
Yes, in fact, the NDC had predicted 7.1.
Okay, but I think I remember 8.1, 8.2. So that's fine. But the point is that they argued that, oh, it is us. That what have you done? The records are there. So I'm just sitting here wondering if they have forgotten themselves so soon to claim that they have engineered some wonderful economic wizardry to bring about. How?
You talked about how the NDC at the time in 2017 were taking credit for the macroeconomic indicators, and we're saying that these were economic indicators that had been predicted long before the MPP came. So what it means is that it really wouldn't have mattered who was in power from 2017. You would have recorded the same economic indicators. And at the time, you laid claim and said you had instituted or initiated certain policy actions that had brought the economy to where it was. You remember, that's what I'm saying. If you flip the coin, you also took total credit. You didn't want to give any credit to the NDC at all.
Well, but we're talking about...
You've just swapped roles.
No, we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about an end of a fiscal year accounting.
Yes.
Right? You don't get GDP 5 months into office.
No, you're not getting my point.
But I've got your point. But I'm saying that they are claiming credit for things that they have not fully given account of. Maybe if the fiscal year has ended and they are giving an account, then one can see that maybe you did that, you did this, right?
Yeah, Richard, remember that when this debate started, it started sometime in, must have been around, must have been the same time, May, June, because the indicators were looking really good. In 2017, we're beginning to look very good.
Moro, just hold on.
And those of us who have been hosting programs will tell you that we had the same.
I don't have a problem. I didn't mention any indicator to you, but GDP growth was what I told you. Yes. How is that debated media? You can't debate GDP media, right? So at the end of the fiscal, there's a real out-and data that we're discussing. So I'm not telling you anything in between.
Specific reference
but
to GDP.
I mentioned GDP. Okay. So if you're taking me back, I'm not sure where you're taking me.
That's fine.
All right? So the point I'm making is that if today they say that, oh, Galamsey, you can't blame us because we just came, then what is this thing about CD appreciation? We did it. What kind of logic is that? It's not sitting well. I mean, they should just understand that this is a function of the foundation they have inherited. The global environment has lent itself to it. The initiative to procure gold, to strengthen our reserve, has given them a foundation, and this is happening. By all means, they're in government, and so therefore some attribution would go to them. But to claim that they have done, Gideon Boako puts it more appropriately to say that Mahama rules, but Baumia's idea reigns. The only credit they have to take is because they are sitting at the pot. It doesn't mean that they cook the food. It doesn't mean they started cooking the food or they are just there to dish it. That's really what it is. And if they're taking that credit, they should be modest about it. But to lie to us and say, oh, we have done this, and they got Professor Bokwe and all these people run around saying that, oh, the fiscal consolidation here and tweaking. They haven't started doing anything yet. You understand? They haven't started doing anything. Once they begin to pay the contractors, there's certain, I think, out till about July or sometime this year, due to the external DDEP, some of our external debts are not being paid. Once this thing hits, when the rubber hits the road, they'll be able to find out their smoothest level. And I'm saying that whilst we want them to be successful in claiming some of these things, I want to see a growth-led policy that, if not yielding results now, is strengthening city.
Okay.
We need sustainably to get employment for our people.
Okay.
All right?
Let me ask
and
you.
So my question even is, if they say so, that they are strengthening the city, the point is that what is the end game? Are you strengthening it so Ghana becomes import dependent, or you are strengthening it so that the so-called 24-hour economy that you're bringing would find space so that our exports will be cheaper, so we can do more of it, we can create more jobs for our people and increase our inflows. That's when you are affecting, the economy with policy. But these things where IMF has prescribed, or we have an arrangement in place where you have to be fiscally disciplined, and that is a given, that you can't do anything about it. It's not as if they can do anything about it. Right. It's locked in.
That's fine.
Okay, so I don't see what they are doing
let me ask you
to impact the economy.
What principle do you stand for? Now, are you for the principle that says that when you take over the reins of government, when there are positive things, you take credit, and there are negative things, you also take credit for it? Or when you take over the reins of government and there's some good news, you take, you share. When there's bad news, you take, you share, which is what role did I play and what role did my predecessor play? Where is the principle here? I don't want to you get my question.
I hear you.
Yes. What's the principle?
There is really nothing to jostle over in that space, what the space you just described. The point is simply that what are we rendering to Ghanaians? You understand? There's a young man out there today who perhaps voted for the NDC, on the back of the promise that they're going to create jobs. That person wants jobs. Your city strengthening doesn't mean anything to that person in terms of jobs. If you don't have money and the city is even 1 cedi to $1, you don't have a job, how do you get that? How do you get 1 cedi to get $1? So the real matter is not the strength of the city. And I'm saying that is even to speaking to the policy position of the NDC and generally the policy position Ghana should be adopting. Somehow it just feels good that the city is weakening and strengthening, until we just like that. But in terms of, I'm talking about it as a people, what policy, and given the problems we have, well, if we're making a policy to strengthen our city, or to have our city to be weak, is a policy decision we have to make, because our drive forward will depend on more export, more production, to be able to get the opportunities for our people.
With all due respect, you haven't answered my question.
But because I just told you that...
What's the principle?
I'm saying that there's nothing to jostle about. You are talking, you can make up any question and ask. Doesn't mean it's a question that must be answered necessarily.
So
because I'm saying that...
We're supposed to have a conversation.
No, we're having a conversation. I'm saying that is a race to the bottom. If we're talking about principle, about sharing credit for CD appreciation, I'm saying that's not what Ghanaians are.
No, I'm not talking about CD appreciation.
But that's what we're talking about.
Saying that you're a politician. Where do you stand on this matter? Do you think that when...
I don't think that is substantial. But I'll answer that later. I'll answer that later too. The point I want to ask you,
but I need you
Moro,
to first of all
there are
tell
people
me,
watching us.
What do you accept?
Who wants jobs?
I know that.
Whose preoccupation is jobs?
That's what we're here.
Yes. So let's let the government understand that it should busy itself about creating those jobs. This whole thing about running around and say CD is this, CD is that, that's not creating any jobs. What job? I hear your question, but I'm just saying, I hear your question, but I'm just saying that what is the value of that to one who doesn't have a job and is looking for a job? When your government has promised that when I come, I'll create a job. Where are the jobs? The record of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to date is that he's been retrenching people. Look, I will tell you this for nothing, right? For free. There's a number of people who are in government agencies, in ministries, who are afraid on a daily basis. They walk to the office and there are memories all around saying, oh, they will let this one go, will let this one go, will let this one go. There's such victimization across the space. And we're saying that this is a government that rode into office and they're going to create jobs. People are not safe in their jobs. People are being hounded in their jobs. So then they are sitting around telling us CD is what, CD is what. Practically when they haven't done anything I mean, I want anybody to tell me what they have done. They haven't done anything. They're just speaking English to us. They're just speaking English.
Are you saying that the appreciation...
What I'm saying is that...
Are you saying the appreciation of the city is not something that is good for Ghana? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying that...
Because you seem to suggest that we're talking a lot about an issue which may not necessarily matter to the ordinary person who's looking for a job. And I'm saying, are you saying it is... Are you downplaying the importance of
I'm just telling you
of the city?
That look at proportionality.
Okay.
Okay? Look at the problem that is facing you. I just gave you the rationalization. If your currency is strong, moral, you must be aiming to be import dependent, because then your imports become cheaper.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Today, if you take 1,000, given the strengthening, you can get, you have $1,000, you can take 12,000 cedis or so to get $1.
Yes.
But if it's about 17, right, you need more to be able to get that.
Yes.
So therefore, if you want to buy something now, because the cedi is relatively strong, you take less cedi and you can get what you want in thousands.
Right.
Right? But if you want to export and your cedi is that strong, your export becomes expensive. That's basic economic thinking.
Absolutely,
so that countries who want to drive, which is what China did, and I told you has been the issue between China and US to the trade imbalance that they have, is because China's currency is perpetually low. And the Americans believe that they actually manipulate it to keep it low so that their export continue to be cheaper. So I'm asking to us here, what is our problem? Our problem is jobs, right? And you say you want to produce 24 hours. You are producing for export. And so when in view of that, your currency is strengthening, that policy view is dimming. So what is the structure? That's what I'm saying. That what is the grand picture? What is the end game for even the strengthening of the city?
Right.
Is it so that we can achieve a certain policy objective, which is to be import dependent?
You know, the reason why...
Because if our city is strong,
yes,
and we can use our strong city to import cheaply from China,
right,
you don't really have your policy drive should not be towards production. So the point is, I'm not downplaying it, but I'm just saying that in the scheme of things,
yes,
what is our strategy?
That's fine.
Our strategy to produce, because if that's what it is going to become almost impossible. It's going to become more expensive. People won't be interested in buying our stuff.
I'll credit you for something. It's an interesting debate you have provoked. It's an interesting debate, even amongst economists. But the point I'm trying to make is that because it's not necessarily the essence of this conversation, I don't want us to litigate over it, because the truth of the matter is that depending on which economic paradigm you are pushing, it would inform your opinion on this very matter. It's a very germane issue you've raised, which is really what do we want? Okay, strengthen the CD, or
somehow we know what we want, except that the government is being disingenuous,
and what the pros and cons would be. So it's an interesting debate to provoke. It's an interesting debate. But the point, your colleague would have to come in.
No problem.
But for almost 30 minutes.
No problem. I don't have a problem. He can come in all day long.
He's been, giving.
No, I don't have a problem. Anyway, but the point is that, the point is quite simply that we need to get serious, okay? This whole thing that we're spending our time, professors being deployed here, experts from industry, just to claim credit for something that is not going to affect the young man on the street who voted because they want jobs.
But you know what?
I find it rather that we're racing to the bottom rather to the top.
Yeah, Richard, you know what? This matter wouldn't have taken center stage, okay? Much less bring all of us here to have this conversation until the former vice president, former flag bearer, decided to make a comment about it.
He's not the president of the country.
I understand that.
So if the attention of the government, I mean that's really is an indictment on the government. If this government will busy itself rather than governing, but he's not in charge of the country.
He's a very influential person,
but he's not the president of the country.
No, does he have to be? So that he doesn't have to be the president.
Hold on.
For us to interrogate or to have a conversation about what he says.
So that the whole government machinery would pivot away from their development agenda, creating jobs for young people and improving the economy that they have inherited, to focus on currency conversation.
Are you saying the government should have ignored Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and just focus on what they're doing? A government communicator should ignore Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia when he makes a comment?
I'm just saying that.
Even if they disagree?
I'm just saying that is not helping anybody on the street.
I heard him, Tiamwa. He'll tell you that he's not an economist, but he can speak to matters about the economy. Doc,
yes.
What thou sayest
Thank you, Moro. I think I've been listening for quite some time. This is a very lengthy lecture, but I also have to say something concerning.
I've been encouraging Richard to take up lecturing as a part-time, but he's not taking heed to my advice, so I'm tired.
So if you look at
I think he'll be
the issue that we are talking about, we are talking about the CD's appreciation and its impact on the economy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if we look at
whether it would be fair to take full credit.
Yes. So the credit, yes, we have to take the credit.
Why?
Because like you said, that is 2020, that's 2017.
Yes.
After we had just left office, and they came. After all the indications pointing to the fact that the economy was going to be better, they took credit for almost everything. Now they are saying that we cannot take credit for what we have done. And we believe that we have deliberately put some measures in place. That is why the CD has appreciated. And I have to, let your viewers know these things.
That's fine.
Because a lot of people are listening to us.
That's fine.
So one of the things that I want to talk about, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was talking about trade war. That is because of the trade war, that is why the CD is gaining strength, which is not true. This is a fallacy, because if you are talking about trade war, then what about the other countries? Let's look at Nigeria, our neighboring country. He mentioned Gambia. That is maybe another economy that is also doing well, like Ghana.
Was Namibia?
Yeah, Namibia.
Yeah.
That is also another economy that deliberately government have put, interventions and policies that they are working. Let's look at Nigeria. Nigeria is just close to us.
Right.
Is the naira, appreciating against the dollar? What about the other currencies against the dollar? Compare pound to dollar. Look at the level of appreciation. It's about 16.7% that the CD has appreciated, against the dollar. So we cannot say the trade war is the main issue. In any case, we had Ukraine and Russian war. That brought us into a difficult situation in our economy. So this trade war, obviously, if it was in their administration, they would have come out clearly to say that it's because of the trade war. That is why we are still having, CD to dollar about 20 cedis or, 50 cedis. So they cannot take credit for that, because this is an intervention that has been engineered by the government. They also spoke about non-payment of contractors. What has that got to do with the appreciation of the CD? If we look at the appreciation of the CD, we are looking at deliberately putting measures or interventions. And this is a simple matter of supply and demand. If you have more forex in the system and somebody wants forex, it's likely for the person to get it. So the premium that we pay during the hike in exchange rate, you are not going to pay that premium, because forex is easily available for me to be able to get the things that I want to get outside. And so if you tell me that, there is no point here and we haven't paid contractors, in any case, if we haven't paid contractors, has that brought forex into the country? No. So if you look at what we have done, and we think that this is the interventions that we have done, one of them has to do with the fiscal consolidation, because here we are talking about government revenue generation, government expenditure. We have cut down expenditure. If you look at the administration of the government, we cut down ministers, and that is saving us. The last time I was telling you that to maintain one minister for a whole year, you are spending close to about 10 million Ghana cedis. Compare that. Now we have about 56 ministers as compared to 126 in their administration.
10 million for a year, 4 years?
Because yes, you need to give a minister a Land Cruiser and a small car.
How is it for the entire 4 years?
Yeah, I'm just talking about, So if you compare that, this is a simple mathematics that I think the listeners or the viewers, this is, something that we need not to go into serious economics. So the figures are clear, showing that government is disciplined in terms of this fiscal consolidation. Then we are also looking at issues about the gold board. They are talking about gold reserves. Please, as it stands now, have you seen in any published article that Ghana's gold reserve, which is in UK, not in Ghana here? Because see, when we are talking, we need to educate our viewers. The gold reserve is not in Ghana here. That my brother Sami Jenfi can easily enter and pick some and sell. That is not it. Gold reserve is in UK, somewhere. And that gold reserve, I'm happy that my brother said, now if you check, they had about 30 point something, and we have not even added up to a ton, which means that currently, as it stands now, nobody has touched the gold reserve. So the question I want to ask Dr. Madu Bamia is that for us to have gold reserve in UK and have dollar to CD exchange rate of 16 cedis, and for us to have gold that has brought in, forex to liquidate the system, such that now we have about 11.9. Which one is better? The reserve is not doing anything. It's just sitting down. We haven't even touched it. The essence of the reserve is to bring what? Investors' confidence. Is to make sure that people that we owe, they are always in the known that anytime they demand their money, we have something that we can sell and quickly pay their debt. And that, ease the pressure on government. That is the essence of reserve. So if you go to UK, America, and the rest, that's why they have a lot of reserve. And that gives what? Confidence to the people. But in essence, it doesn't bring in any forex. In the first 5 months of administration, we are talking about 2.7 billion. You can't compare that to what IMF is giving to us, about 300 million and the rest. That is how much the gold board has contributed in terms of forex. So this is a simple matter of demand and supply. It has nothing to do with, these lectures about trade war, these lectures about non-payment of contractors, these lectures about gold reserve reaching an astonishing height of 30 metric tons and all that. It has nothing to do with that. And so if we are looking at the reasons why our CD has appreciated, these are some of the measures that are deliberately, these are calculated, and these are things that the government has intentionally put in place to make sure that our CD can appreciate. We have what we call the monetary policy. Now, as we speak now, we have what we call the liquidation sterilization. And if we are looking at the economics of these things, one of the things that we have to do, you mentioned, that 27% of the monetary rate has now been increased to about 28%. If you look at IMF approach in making sure that you sterilize your liquidity, that is to establish a neutral system whereby it doesn't affect inflation and all that. This is one of the approach. You make sure that your policy rate, you can increase it a little bit. And one of the things that the Bank of Ghana or the central government has done that we need to give credit to is also the fact that the open market operation, whereby securities like the bonds and the treasury bills, either you sell or you buy to make sure that you maintain inflation and all these things. So they cannot sit anywhere at any point and say that we have to give them credit. They haven't done anything, and they deserve no credit. I was listening, and the issue about the rise and fall of dollar being an usual thing, it's not true. We were here in 2017 when they assumed office after we had predicted that the economy is going to have this kind of macro stability and all that. How did that last? It was just something that was in the passing. Within a short time, then we entered into a severe crisis. I will say we entered into an economic crisis that happened some years ago. And everybody was complaining, to the point that about 1.3 million Ghanaians, the monies that they have invested in bonds, they have to withhold that money. The other day I went somewhere, and a man who had invested so much and had about 5 million Ghana cedis in account was complaining because of this haircut, that even to buy medication at his age, he cannot afford that. This is the economy that they left for us to come and manage. I've heard about issues with ECG and all that. Now, the point is that once the CD has appreciated, what are the benefits that comes? As we stand, or as I'm speaking now on records, our debt has decreased by 10%. That is about 172 billion. Are we saying that this is not something that Ghana should be proud of? In any case, we're going to look for money to offset this debt. And so if the appreciation has given us this an advantage, and you tell us that we should, consider employment and forget about these things, then it means that they don't understand the economy and we cannot hand over the economy to them at any point in time. The issue about the galamsey, electricity and all that, we've inherited huge thing. And this morning, I can say that I'll make a lot of reference to his submission and the lecture he has given me because I was listening very careful. He said that with the IMF thing, we cannot do anything around it. So that is a problem. They've tied the hands of President Mahama to the point that we had to increase tariffs. And the same people who are saying we can't do anything about it, they went to have press conferences upon press conferences trying to educate every Ghanaian that this government cannot help the ordinary Ghanaian. When they know and they have admitted in the studio here that the IMF conditionality, there's nothing any president can do about it. Is that how they should come out to spill lies? Is that how they should come and deceive the ordinary Ghanaian? Then when it favors them, they use as a point to justify their claims. That is not so. So I want to say that whatever the cedi appreciation has done to the economy, one, we're talking about job creation. It has now brought investor confidence. Okay. Because there are a lot of people, and more, I have to let you know this. Yeah. See, there were a lot of investors who wanted to come and invest in Ghana. And one of the things that they were looking out for is because the dollar and cedi exchange rate wasn't stable. It was fluctuating. So they didn't want to come and invest their money and lose that money. Right. And so they were hoping that there will be a change in government. And I can assure you, once there was change in government, that confidence went up, and there are a number of them that have come to Ghana. Okay. Are you saying that that investor that has come to Ghana, coming to invest, opening business, that is not job creation? That is in itself job creation. The other thing is that there are a lot of Ghanaians who lost their capital during the time of the dollar, appreciating against our cedi, whereby we had about 17 cedis per dollar. A lot of them, your capital will dwindle to the point that you cannot import. Right. On any day, we are import-dependent country, so that one we can't take it out. That is why the president wants to make sure that we have a lot of businesses that are able to produce, so that we also engage in export. Okay. So a lot of the businesses, a lot of them, they had to now close their business. We saw companies closing down, folding up during the time where the cedi was depreciating. Okay. And so now if the cedi is appreciating, that same person who couldn't do business with 200,000 can now start business with 200,000 because that 200,000 can buy something elsewhere for the person. And is that not creating job? Right. So that jobless person who once was in business and was thrown out of business because of the difficulties of the economy, that person has a job now. And that is what President Mahama meant when he says he's coming to create jobs. He wants to make sure that the conducive environment or the economic environment will help businesses to thrive. In any case, we're looking at the duties at the port. Now that the cedi has appreciated against the dollar, the duties at the port automatically has come down. And people are testifying about this. Are we saying that these are not significant strides that we have made in our economy? And so we should think about creating jobs and all that, but these are not jobs. The issue about DVLA, running 24-hour service. Can one person sit down for 24 hours? Even the normal lectures that we go in the university, you sit down for 4 hours and your brain is drained. What is the normal hours for the ordinary Ghanaian to work? 8 hours at most. Or 10 hours, depending whether you are in private sector or where you find yourself. So if we are doing 24 hours, are you saying that the same person is going to sit there for 24 hours? Would that not create more room for people to now be enrolled into the public sector? So these are significant things that the administration of President Mahama has put in place. And we cannot give credit to somebody who sits somewhere and says that when I come into office, I'll come and do this. Okay. In any case, we were here. We handed over the economy to him for 8 years. 8 good years. What did they do? What do they do? I would like to touch on the electricity issue. He's talking about electricity. The IMF conditionality, which has handcuffed President Mahama, which he has admitted. You mentioned that now there are challenges with electricity, and so would that be able to help with our 24-hour economy?
Right.
And I'm telling you that, yes, we admit that there are challenges, but we are also ready to make sure that we resolve the challenges. Let me show you an article. This article was written in November 2024.
Okay.
Just November 2024. And we have Nana Amoesi the 7th.
Okay.
And this was a discussion that went on between Nana and Samson Ladi. And he was saying that he never expected that after 2017, with all what President Mahama had done previously, prior to the Doomsaw and all that, put in place good measures and all that, the NPP inheriting that administration will send it back to Doomsaw. And this is just November 2024. On that stage, the then acting ECG boss, who just stood in for Mahama Dubik, was admitting that, yes, there's a problem and will give us some weeks and we'll resolve it. So the Doomsaw didn't start when we came to power. It started, in any case, there were load shedding that were going on. This, if you look at the PURC publications and all the energy departments, if you look at their publication, you see that they were shedding loads.
Right.
Proud to, assuming office. And so if we sit here and make it look like once NDC comes to power, the issue of Doomsaw, the issue we have now has nothing to do with generation, because when we came, we had only 5 hours of liquid fuel to run the country. 5 hours. I'm telling you on fact. And so if the minister comes and says that we have 2 days and 6 hours, and you are telling me that, please, would you allow me to, with all respect? No.
I'll bring you in, don't worry.
No, we had 5 hours.
So you can do the fact checking, yes.
We had 5 hours. And in the same 2023, if you read that article, you realize that Asogli plant was shut down. Why was it shut down? It was shut down because we were in debt. We had to raise money. Where was the economic messiah? Where was the one who is giving lecture?
This is where the challenge is. This is where the
challenge
is.
Moro, will you allow me to?
I've allowed you to.
Yes.
In fact, I've allowed you a few
No, just a few minutes, because you did about 40 minutes. And I've just spoken for about 15 minutes.
Ask him several questions.
So can I end this point so that...
okay, you
so what was the economic messiah? To the point that after Asogli shut down, there were 3 others who had to reduce their capacity because of indebtedness. And so we inherit indebtedness. We inherited that kind of indebtedness. It's not something that he was talking about payment of contractors. In any case, have we assigned any new contracts? No. Since we came to office, we are even trying to put balls together to be able to give contracts. So if you are talking about contractors have to be paid and all these are things that you left behind, to the point that your sitting president had to say that, I have done what I can do, and I'm allowing my mate, the one who doesn't have a license, to come and drive the vehicle, which we did not agree. As Ghanaians, I thought that we need...
Yeah, but the contractors we're talking about are not contractors who have been given new contracts now. These are contractors who... no, I mean, I'm just saying that when Dr. Mahmoud Bamia says contractors are not being paid, he's not necessarily saying that no contractors have been assigned to new contracts have not been paid. There are contractors who have been working. You see, for them, they're working for Ghana.
Yes.
So if a government comes and the government hasn't paid them, obviously there's less pressure on the city. And I heard Dr. Mahmoud Bamia when he said that. But I wanted to ask you this quick question. I'll ask you this after this break. We'll take a short break. I'm here with Rashida Anyagba, who is the Director of Communications for the MPP, and also Dr. Ntiama, who is a member of the NDC's communications team. You're still watching Good Morning Ghana, live on Metro Television. Please stay with us.
MGO procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
Mommy.
Michelle say, fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Sankofa.
Yenchi. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
Where to get Polytan?
Oh, and you're up fine.
Go straight.
No, I want left, right.
That's right. Ghana na ye wono. So when you do more, any data. Oh no! Abe, na here. Me pe Polytan kato. Enu nti na menu aba oju ko bia be na ba heju. O food ko bia e se enjoy ye kura.
Akuya bulambu kotoman. Emu ha.
Like they took my eyes. Came to me go to the distributor and you give the original Polytank. You get a sound?
Polytank. Papananka Sankasa.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Cratchy, unemu bua unkoisha Dr. Ban uye denwa.
Oh, Mr. Yamfan come and me buru.
Mami buru. Ni atele be ko. Bra, mumi yamfan ko Dr. Ban ho. Dr. Ban o ya de. Bra, se ba no mpemu adwuma, sasabro slow. Dr. Ban o ye.
So ni kemi kona meka. Oh, no mpemu ni mdi onu na ye expect nya zanfo no. O akra eni kumasi no mpemu expect yen kan kire.
Hey Ghana, hey Accra, where you the maiden edition, walk in your jersey, Ignite Sports and Yade Bramo, Basso Saturday, 24th of May, 2025. Yeah, Shasia wa Accra Mall, near Kwakobia Center Point Mall, our Atomic Junction, Shannon So, Ignite Sports.
Team Bain our supporting Arsenal, Man U, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Inter, and FC Barcelona. And yeah, Jesse, na brasie eye walk in your jersey yenyina yenhye jersey niemra nienantimo
eti yetu yesa de frɛ asɔre akuo enyina keep fit club anase suku ahodo enyina ye hyase ɛwɔ shopping mall Accra mall ye hyase na ye de akɔpem ɛwɔ center point
eye walk in your jersey we taking over.
You're still live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro TV. So the debate is still on. Who takes credit for the strengthening of the city? Is it the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia-led economic management team under the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, or it is the Dr. Atufo Singh, Dr. Panjete Siama-led economic team under the President, His Excellency President John Mahamed's regime or administration? That's been at the center of our conversation today. And our two friends from the NDC and NPP have been slugging it out, basically. But it's a very interesting conversation. And the other thing that we're slugging out we'll know who would win is the UEFA Champions League. And it's happening, as you do know, on the 31st of this month. But ahead of that, or as a prelude to that, there's something that the Ignite Media Group has put together, and it's something that you would have to, would entreat you to participate because it does two things. There's the recreational aspect, the networking aspect, but also there's the health benefits of it. I'm talking about a health walk, which is coming up this Saturday, which is 2 days away. So we're living here, the premises of the Metro TV, we're living here at 5 a.m. and we're walking all the way to the Atomic, I believe, Atomic Junction. Yes, so the Accra Mall to the Center Point Mall at Atomic Junction. And so we're all expected to take part in this station's event because we believe that a sound mind is said lives in a sound body, which is a very well-known saying that emphasizes the importance of both mental and physical well-being for a truly healthy life. So let's be there. Saturday, 5 a.m., 24th of this month. Let's be there or be squared, as we used to say back in the day. Anyway, so, and again, you're supposed to walk in your jersey. Yeah, you're supposed to walk in your jersey. Are you for Inter Milan? Or what's the other team that's playing Inter Milan again? Yes. Are you for Inter Milan or the other team? Sorry? PSG. Is it PSG? Yes, PSG. You're right. It's Inter Milan, between Inter Milan and PSG. Absolutely, you're right. So if you're a PSG fan, please come in your PSG jersey. And if you're an Inter Milan fan, please come in your Inter Milan jersey. I have my own prediction as to who will win the UEFA Champions League. But anyway, so back in, can we please try and round this up as quickly as we can so we can move to our next topic? Yes, so you're still on electricity.
No.
Okay,
no.
There's something else you want to say because I have a final question to you before I come to
sure. So what I want to say is that they've been asking us that what measures have we put in place, and I want to say that yes, we have put the liquidation sterilization or liquidity sterilization, and that is how come we're able to increase the monetary rate from 27 to 28. That is one policy together with the open market operation. That is one. The other one is fiscal consolidation, and here we are talking about the same revenue we are generating, and we have even increased the revenue because cocoa, mind you, this year alone, cocoa revenue has gone up from about around 600 million to about 830 million. And this has to be on the record. Gold, from the gold board, be able to cut down all the smuggling and all that has, in the first 5 months of administration, given us 2.7 billion. And this one has increased our revenue alongside cutting down expenditure. So this is a deliberate policy intervention that the government has put in place.
Okay.
The last thing that I will say is that whatever they are saying, as in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the NPP are saying that they have to be given credit, it is not true. The government in power, which is the NDC, John Dramani Mahama-led administration, has worked hard to make sure that the CD has come to this point.
Okay.
And, you know, God, let me say something small. I'm a Christian,
Finally,
so
please,
I mean, just to wrap up. You see, in James 1, verse 8, if you read the Amplify, you know, God knew that these double standards will come. And so he had to put in the scripture that a man of two minds is unstable, unreliable, and uncertain about everything he thinks, he feels, and he decides.
Okay.
And that is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So nobody should trust him.
All right, so Masa Musa from the UK says this message. It says, Mo, just as the NDC is now doing well with the anemic economy they inherited, it's only fair to ask them to deal with whichever difficulty they've inherited in the energy sector. Very soon, we Ghanaians will say enough is enough of the self-pity. Very soon, they, the NDC, will have no sympathy from suffering Ghanaians. Thanks and good morning from Mansa Musa, Voice of London Radio, UK. Sani Salihu says that conversely, the same entrepreneurial young man who has boutique appreciates the cedi gains against the major currencies. For most Ghanaians, these 5 months of prudent management is better than the 8 years of sitting on tenterhooks. Good morning. Sani Salihu sent that message. Abu Bakman, who is one of Alan Chemantin's strategists for Movement for Change, he says Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has lost all the moral authority to speak on issues of foreign exchange in this country. During his time in office, he demonstrated little understanding of managing the currency, presiding over one of the worst periods of depreciation in history. It's quite telling that while in power, he reinvented himself as an IT expert, only to suddenly rediscover his economic voice now that he is in a position. Unfortunately for him, Ghanaians are no longer entertained by empty economic lectures. They are demanding results, not rhetoric. Today is Alan Chemantin's mother's birthday. Oh, I see. Happy birthday, mommy. She's called Obapini Victoria Chemantin. She's 105 years. Wow. Unbelievable. All right. Happy birthday, Mrs. Victoria Chemantin. What can we say? I don't know what to say. Age gracefully. I mean, 105. But yes, age gracefully. And we're wishing you a happy birthday. Now, this one here from Seth Ayi says that, good morning. Richard Yagwa is the Director of Communications of MPP, but he cannot flip-flop on the city's performance. The unemployed youth who goes to bet doesn't pay 10% on winnings. E-levies no more. Transport fares reduced by 15%. Guta and Abusio Kai Pass Dealers Association officially encouraging the members to reduce prices of their wares. Fuel prices are coming down thick and fast. In the 100 days in 2017, in which the VIP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, claimed the dollar had been arrested and the key given to the IGP, revenue from 2 oil fields hit the economy from the 10 and the Sankofa fields. The ENI $7 billion investment came under Mahama. The NPP, when the Italian PM came to Ghana petitioning him to cancel the investment, they took full credit for the improvement in the positive economic indicators. Didn't the NPP rebuff the NDC when they claimed credit for the improvement? The appreciation of the cedi against the dollar, pounds, and euro has also reduced our debt significantly. That's from Seth Ayi. And finally, this one, Edmond. Okay, so Prosper Ashikwe from Asalam Down says, Moro, what kind of people are these? To say the NDC will struggle really smacks of evil. Why are they wishing evil for Ghana simply because the cedi is appreciating? Fact check. If your currency is strong, import does not suffer. That's a lie. Where did he learn that? Please correct him now. What is this? This is nauseating. This type of position is what killed Nkrumah and truncated Ghana's growth trajectory then. Please, let's focus. Better things are happening. He didn't say imports. If your currency is strong, import does not suffer. Well, what he essentially said is that
because your import is cheaper.
Exactly. What he said is if you...
It's your exports that suffer.
Yes.
You can decide to be import dependent.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that. But is that our strategy?
Anyway.
Please.
Yeah, so Jude...
Is that our strategy?
Jude from Accra says that, please ask Richard, is he saying the cedi should appreciate? It should depreciate to the dollars so we can export? Is he saying the appreciation of the cedi is causing unemployment? Is he saying the cedi appreciation is only on the dollar? What about the other currencies too? Are they having trade war with China? That's from Jude. Hassan Sawadogo, he says, Assalamu alaikum Alhaji Moro. Was the MPP and Bawumia paying bills and contractors in their regime? The answer was no. So why wasn't the city doing well then? Simply put, the MPP and Bawumia mismanaged every sector of Ghana. We are resetting. Hassan Sawodogo from Tema, he sends that message. And finally, Eben from Kwabenya says, what at all is the suspended CJ? Okay, so this one is not even related to what we're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. So by the way, will the MPP accept? So say, look, Bebu says, he says, by the way, would the MPP accept responsibility for current power challenges since they want credit for the CD appreciation? Anyway, Regina Yagwa has been consistent with his commentaries on national issues. Anyway, so I couldn't read the one before the commentaries because I think it's a bit harsh. Anyway, so Richard, can we do this briefly so that we can move on?
Oh, I'm not.
Because we'll spend almost 2 hours talking about this.
Well, we haven't spent 2 hours. You started your show at what time?
Yeah, what about 8 o'clock? Yes.
But bro, I think I'll spare my brother because his invitation to this conversation, I'm sure he's just reading notes.
I'm not reading notes. If you say I'm reading notes, then means I'm not in Ghana.
No,
maybe I'm a foreigner. Somebody has given me some slice to read.
Just allow me.
Okay.
The point I'm making is that he talks about monetary sterilization that they have done. What is that? That simply means what they did. Simply is just increasing the prime rate. That's all. What else? What else? And that's designed to make money expensive, right? That's limiting the supply of money. The implications of that are there. Right? It makes money more expensive.
It's just mop up excess liquidity in the system.
I'm saying that, yeah, but the implication, you see, and this is where I'm talking about the policy inconsistency. You have a problem. Oro, if you have a problem of moving from point A to point B, and you have a vehicle, okay, that can take you there, and all what you need is fuel, and you're not looking for fuel, you're looking for how to decorate that vehicle. You can decorate it all you want, but that vehicle cannot move without fuel. The problem we have is a production problem. We don't have a prime rate increasing or decreasing problem because you can do that all you want. And naturally, if your inflation is relatively high, you clean up the system. So this is not an ingenious invention. I mean, you see, so this is what. And I think I put all this all on all of us to say that, look, it was the same way we sat here in this country, they said the will 24-hour economy, and we didn't interrogate, we didn't say no to that. We didn't tell them, you can't do it, show us how. Even till now, they are still struggling to define what 24-hour economy is. They're sitting here saying that they have increased the prime rate, and so therefore they have introduced some sterilization measure, and so therefore what? Sterilization, what it's supposed to do is to manage the inflow and outflow of capital. Which, in this situation, what problem do you have? You are not paying your external responsibility. You're not. Your contractors, you're not paying them. So if you're talking about any sterilization only resulting from you not paying people. So is that the ingenious thing they have done? Is that what they're supposed to be clapped for? I mean, I find this so very shocking. What have they done? I'm saying that, first of all, what problem are you faced with? What problem are you faced with? You're faced with a problem of an economy that needs to produce. Where is the policy that you are put in place to do that? And by the way, this conversation about this is, I mean, it's just shocking.
Okay.
So my point, quite simply, is that we need to get serious.
Okay.
These are very touchy conversations to have. But I find it very unbelievable that the whole government is set up in a manner that they are clamoring for praise for something that they have done literally nothing about. This thing about fiscal consolidation they are talking about, I'm saying that this thing is baked in. Okay? It's a straitjacket situation. You have to fiscally be responsible and disciplined.
Richard, if the dollar was selling at 17 cedis today, you would have blamed the same government for being incompetent. or 17 or 18. You'd have blamed them for being incompetent.
But that's your supposition.
Terrible managers of the economy.
Moro, that's your supposition.
No, based on your own track record.
No.
Of the things you said in the past.
No. That's your supposition.
Would you have praised the government?
Moro, I don't do hypotheticals.
Oh.
You are supposing something that has not happened, and therefore that's your own imagination.
Oh, come on. But
the point
the footprints are there.
No,
we don't
impugn that. You know, if you are moderate fairly. The question you are impugning that if I get money, I'll be rude. Is that what you're trying? So
no.
I mean, please.
No, that's a very wrong analogy.
No, I'm just saying that you are impugning something.
There's a track record. There's history.
There is no history.
That based on that history,
there is no history.
If the dollar was selling at 18 cities
when
today,
my brother was talking, he was utterly quiet.
I asked him a question.
Moro, please. Don't do this.
Okay.
Don't do this.
So
the point,
you don't think it's a fair question?
This interruption things that you've been doing is not right.
Okay, go ahead.
When he's talking, is that all the thing he's talking about? You just
asked him a question. You remember? And he said,
Moro, please.
And he said that I shall allow him to lunch. You remember?
Moro, please.
Yes.
That thing you are saying there, you shouldn't have said that.
Why?
It's not necessary.
Why?
Something that has not happened, you are impugning that. What if
it's a possibility.
But that possibility has not happened, Moro. So please.
But you and I, but we've said so many things hypothetically. Why are you doing this, Richard?
Moro,
people
are listening when you are saying this thing as if it's fact. Something that has not happened. Why are you saying that if it were 17, we'll criticize that? What makes you think that?
Oh,
has that happened,
Richard?
Has that happened? We are talking about fact, not an imaginary
things were not going right.
Let's not get
into it. We know what opposition has been.
Please. So sometimes you who is moderating the program can create problems. And that's what you're trying to do. The point I am saying is that something that has not happened, why are you bringing it to a conversation? So we should engage in the hypothetical conversation. Let me just move on.
But it's a fair hypothesis.
No. We are not here to do hypotheticals. We are talking about matters before us. So when you are bringing things that don't exist, what kind of conversation do you want us to have there?
Don't do this.
Please.
Anyway, you go ahead.
No. But the point is, just don't do that. You can do it, but when I'm here, don't do it. Because the point is that you are diverting the conversation to talk about.
What is diversionary about this?
Look. Why are you telling me about something that has not happened for me to discuss?
No, I'm just asking you a simple question. If the city was not doing well,
we are talking about an issue before us. Why are you imagining something that exists and want us to talk about?
The context here is that you're saying.
Let me just say that.
You're saying that.
Let me just say
it would be unfair for the NDC to take credit.
The government.
And I'm saying if I'd gone bad.
Moro, please. You are here to moderate, not to engage in a debate. What you just did for me is unacceptable. Don't do it. It amounts to something I would tell you on air, but please don't do that.
No. Don't do this.
The point I am saying, because it's inappropriate for you to want me to dissect something that has not happened. How is that you getting
into that all the time on platforms?
No, please.
Why are you pretending this is the first time somebody's asking a hypothetical question?
Please. But I say I don't do
that all the time. Even in your commentaries.
I don't do hypotheticals. The point I want to make is that my brother and the NDC, they have talked at length, but they have not suggested or proven anything they have done ingeniously to arrive at this situation. While this situation will provide some temporary reprieve in terms of import, the real business, the real problem confronting our country is production. And this strengthening of the city that they are trying to praise as though that's where we should be going, to address matters of sustaining our currency, address matters in terms of production, address matters in terms of creating job opportunities and to stabilize our economy long term. That's the problem that they have not told us that they are solving. That's the problem that they have not shown us any policy that they are driving. That they want to achieve that employment capacity so that our people can get jobs. The policies that brought them to government, those policies, we have not seen the implementation of any.
You've said this. You've said it for times. So I think
the point is that what we are seeing is as a result of interventions that have been put in place. They have not done anything ingenious to arrive at this situation. They are taking credit incidentally because they are in government, but not because they have done credit.
Okay, so what I want to say is that the question you ask him and he's not happy about. In 2016, when the then candidate, Nana Akufo-Addo Dankwa, was campaigning, we heard that he made reference to the city. the cedi no aye taha 4 cedis. He was saying that 4 cedis to $1, the cedi has lost its value to the point that he made references to, I mean, the cost of living. Kenke Muton saying 1 cedi as at the time we took office in 2025, January 7th, the cedi was about 14 or 15 thereabout to $1. So from 4 cedis to this. So if we had taken that mandate and we have been able to work on it to bring it down, the question holds, because I can ask him the same question, that if the cedi was 20 cedis today, will my brother say that we haven't done anything? The system itself has been able to produce 20 cedis per dollar.
But he's just told you that we're not there yet, so he's unable to respond to that.
So that is no, I'm giving him a reference in 2016. That's the immediate past. President made reference to that, and it was part of the things that they used to, I mean, take over the economy, to the point that they proposed the Messiah, who is the economic magician, that he's coming to make sure that you arrest the cedi from 4 cedis to maybe 1 cedi, $1. That is what they claim that President Kufuor gave us, and so we should go back and reset that 4 cedis to $1 to that rate. To the point that Kenke, which was 1 cedi, they said is, I mean, something unbearable.
Right.
Now Kenke is 7 cedis, 8 cedis. In some places in Accra, you even go is 10 cedis.
Okay.
So if we have come and government has deliberately, intentionally put measures that I've mentioned, one of the things is that we are talking about demand and supply. People were looking for dollar and they were not getting. And the premium you pay when there is, I mean, scarcity of forex is the hike in exchange rates, whereby the price of cedi to dollar increases. Now, there is what? Supply. To the point that I can say that the supply is even more than the demand. And that is why, even as we sit here right now, the cedi is still appreciating. The dollar is still about 11 to 11.8. So in the course of speaking for 2 hours, the dollar is still going down. And this is something that a government has done deliberately. These are policies we are saying. We spoke about the gold board, whereby within the first 4-5 months, we have been able to bring in 2.7 billion. Are they saying that the reserves that they have is what we have sold to get the 2.7 billion? In any case, he mentioned that the reserves are there, and he is even taking credit that we haven't added much. So if we haven't added much and the reserves are still sitting in UK, and there's a gold board that has been able to make sure that every single gold we produce, as we speak now, all the big mining companies have decided that this is, I mean, an information I'm giving to you for free. They have decided that henceforth from, I mean, June going, all the production, after they have done their processing and everything, they will give Ghana about 20% of their gold to sell. If they haven't seen any progress with what the government is doing in the past, were they doing it? They are not doing it. So we can take credit 100%, and we will take that credit without looking back. Because we have seen in the past what the economic Messiah came to do. And he filled the whole, I mean, economy, every sector. When we were leaving, there were a lot of private institutions that were making profit. As we came to inherit 2025, most of them are in debt. We have decided that we are not going to run into deficit again. In the previous year, they were running into about 3%, minus 3%. Now we have decided that we will have about 1.5% surplus. This tells you that this government is meticulous about, I mean, managing the fiscals. So if you say that there is nothing, these are just low-hanging fruit. So if they were low-hanging fruit, why were they not able to pluck those fruits? Was it because of height challenge? No, we can't say this. In any case,
I guess we can move on. I guess we can move on and look at some other issues. Enough of the how do you call it, economic banter. So it's about our Chief Justice. We have just, I don't know whether we can do this because we have just 10 minutes to go, but we'll try and Richard and Derek, was it Frederick? We'll try and make this as brief as we can because we have just 10 minutes to do this. So The Chief Justice is still in the news, and today's Daily Graphic reports on page 13. It says CJ impeachment, Supreme Court throws out another injunction. Emmanuel Hawkins reporting that Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Saki Tokono, has filed a lawsuit at the Supreme Court challenging her suspension by President John Dramani Mahama. Now, the writ filed yesterday by her lawyer, Godfrey Yabo Adame, a former Attorney General. The Chief Justice is seeking declarations from the Supreme Court that her suspension as well as the impeachment process against her are unconstitutional and therefore null and void. She is also seeking an order from the Apex Court setting aside her suspension by President Mahama and for the court to allow the petition proceedings against her to be heard in public and not in camera. Additionally, Justice Tokono has filed an application for interlocutory injunction asking the court to halt the entire impeachment process against her pending the final determination of her lawsuit. Now, the legal action by the Chief Justice came a few hours after the Supreme Court had dismissed two interlocutory injunction applications seeking an order to put on hold the suspension and the impeachment. The two interlocutory injunction applications filed by a civil society organization, Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Systems, and an individual, that's Theodore Kofi Atakwote, who also wanted the court to halt the impeachment process of the Chief Justice pending the final determination of their lawsuit challenging its constitutionality. In a 4-1 majority decision yesterday, a 5-member panel of the Supreme Court, presided over by the acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni, dismissed the two applications as lacking merit. Justice Bafuboni Isifu, Umoro Tanko Amadou, Emmanuel Yonikolende, and Henry Anthony Kofi were on the majority side, while Justice Yao Dako Asari dissented. The Supreme Court has so far dismissed 3 applications challenging President Mohammed's decision to suspend Justice Tokono after the President, in consultation with the Council of State, established a prima facie case against her with regards to 3 petitions seeking her removal. On May 6 this year, the Supreme Court, in a 3-2 majority decision, dismissed another application for interlocutory injunction filed by the Member of Parliament for Otafo, Vincent Eko Asefua. Richard, what do you make of this development? Just briefly, we have just 10 minutes to go.
I think that Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC, they are taunting our democracy. I think that is very dangerous, what they're doing. Just yesterday, they were on the touchline saying that the judiciary is leading in a certain direction that the public is likely to lose confidence in it. And because their decisions are going one way. They gladly quotes then the Minister for National Security, Kandapa, in making that point. What is happening is unprecedented. What is happening is almost a choreograph of making sure the court throws away every case without examining the merits of them. I look forward to what the court will say, the matter brought on behalf of the Chief Justice, Ladyship Gertrude Tokono, by the former Attorney General who is representing her, in seeking for the chair of the committee and one other person to be excused from the committee, and also praying the court to suspend the operation of her suspension by the President. That's a Chief Justice suspension. I'm waiting to see the outcome of that. And then also to raise this caution to all of us that when it's happening and you think that you can be quiet about it, it gets to a point when you have to speak about it, it will be too late. All the voices in our country that are watching and listening and see how determined the NDC is to subsume the executive, most especially, to subsume the judiciary in the manner that it's happening. that a case comes and then it's like just rubbish the thing and put it away consistently. The third one, I don't see where we are going, but I can tell you it's not a good place. It's a dangerous path that we're on. Our democracy is on the line. Those who are seeing it and are quiet, and those who are not seeing it and perhaps think that this is a fun show they've got and they are engaging in it, must wake up from their slumber. Because the president is leading us on a path simply because they are determined in their politics to remove the Chief Justice. And so anything legal in the process that has happened, they are determined to just brush it aside. I am very, very curious, and I want to see what the ruling would be in this Godfrey Dame case that he's brought on behalf of the Chief Justice, to see what the court will do again. And that will spell it out for us all clearly, that indeed this government is on a certain path. And I tell you that we as citizens must rise to resist it. For now, people may bask in the early day goodwill that a government may be enjoying and see that these things are nothing. But I'm telling you that they are gradually eating away the fabric of our democracy, the adherence to the rule of law, the independence of the judiciary is completely gone, in my view, to the extent that the committee that is set up is clearly being micromanaged from the Jubilee House. Almost like Felix Kwachu, government spokesperson, speaking almost for the committee. We are in dangerous territory. These things that are happening never happened in the proportion that is happening, but people were talking very loudly. Very loudly. We shouldn't have to wait to get to a place where it is too difficult to retract. Nobody should fool themselves to think that it is impossible. It is impossible. Okay. We need to guard our democracy. This thing you are doing, this thing that has been triggered is taking us the wrong way. And if we don't beat a retreat soon enough, this whole thing could be crumbling.
Okay.
Could be crumbling. When people lose confidence in the judiciary, in the manner we are going, I think that it spells doom for our democracy.
All right, Doc, you also have 5 minutes.
Yeah, so what I want to say is that if you look at the petition the Chief Justice has provided, and we've all observed this process, and I can say that the President has always demonstrated his fidelity to the Constitution, and he has demonstrated that he's always going to maintain the same stand. You see, if you look at what the President did in the case of the Strike Commissioner, it's the same president that, established the prima facie and was able to set up a committee, and that strike boss was removed. The same thing has happened here, and we are saying that no, it is not like that. No, it can't be. The next thing has to do with, I think if you look at the reliefs that the Chief Justice is asking for, one is to make sure that the in-camera thing, but the Constitution states clearly that it has, and this is not an option, this is a command from the Constitution. And I expect that she was the leader of the judicial service. And so she being that person, they should boycott that and give me a special dispensation. So are they saying that the rule of law where it talks about equality before the law doesn't apply? Because that is what exactly probably they have seen over the years, that people in higher offices can request at any point in time for certain reliefs and will be given to them. No, the Constitution has to work. Asking that whatever we are doing is unconstitutional. Everybody knows. You see, the interpretation which is diabolic and mischievous from the opposition regarding certain portions of the Constitution is unacceptable. And I think that we should not entertain them. We were here in 8 years, that people were crying. She's just taking a taste of her own pill. She was the one empaneling for people to sit and render judicial services to individuals that send their issues there. Is she saying that now she has lost interest or she has lost confidence in her own, institution that she was heading. If she has lost interest or she has lost confidence in them, then it means way before, because the ordinary Ghanaians were complaining that there is some issues that has to deal with the credibility of the judicial system. And she kept on, even to the point that some lawyers were, allegedly harassed in the courtroom when they raised issues of bias. In the issue of Justice Gawu and all that, she, consistently held the opinion that a justice cannot be biased. And so if she is coming out today to say that there is bias and so Justice Poaman has to be set aside and all that, then I don't know what she is saying. And I think that the law is the law and it will remain the law, and the president is constant and he will show his fidelity to the Constitution at any day.
Let me bring in our viewers. So, the Bobakwan is back. He's a strategist for Alan Tremontin. He says that the optics surrounding the MPP's unholy political alliance with the suspended Chief Justice do not bode well for the embattled Chief Justice. The involvement of former Attorney General Godfrey Darwin only deepens the perception that her case is driven more by partisan interest than by legal merit. It is time she comes to the sobering realization that the MPP cannot shield her from accountability. The law is the law. And Sam Kelly from East Legon Hill says that, good morning, I think that at this juncture, the suspended Chief Justice is just trying to hold on to straw. How do you sue a sitting president for carrying out his presidential and constitutional duties? Why would you, as a whole CJ, who's supposed to know the in and outs of the Constitution, be asking for a public hearing of your case, when the Constitution clearly says that such cases should be held in camera? Is she asking for the rules and the law in the Constitution to be changed because she's a special CJ at this time? No matter how long it takes, tomorrow will always remain tomorrow. And this one here says that...
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Ebo Backman, I want to say something.
Ebo Backman, yes. Just a second. So Loratu is also another view of the show. She says, if I hear about things that the NDC government isn't doing anything for the cities to appreciate, why didn't the MPP do nothing for the city to also appreciate during their governance? All right, please go ahead.
I think Ebo Backman said something that the MPP, the MPP, we're not aligned with Chief Justice.
Okay.
We're aligned with democracy. Okay. The idea that the institutional independence of the judicial must be respected. The incursion, is concerning.
Okay.
That the judiciary will somewhat be subjugated. That should be concerning to all of us because it goes to the heart of our democracy. That's what we're concerned about, not to save a Chief Justice, whoever the person is. It is so that the sanctity, the institution, the three legs of our democracy will remain strong. That's really the point.
So finally, Evans Dinko from Garu says, good morning, Audu. So Richard Ahangba telling us that the Gold Board law has not been passed and is working. If Richard and his MPP want to take credit for the economic gains made that they want to take credit for it, it should be fair enough for them to also take blame for the energy crisis. They are asking the government to come out with the timetable. Look at the double standards in their speeches, I think so. Something National Cathedral. Evans Dinko, you didn't have to bring in a National Cathedral. Anyway, so our time is up, unfortunately.
30 seconds.
10 seconds, I beg you.
So what I'm saying is that when we are talking about independence of the three arms of government, there are check and balances.
Yes.
Because that's what the Constitution says. So if there are no check and balances, then one will sit somewhere and do whatever he wants to do at any point in time. And that is why the framers of our Constitution put that clause where the president, even the president, can be impeached. There are processes that set that in motion. So there are check and
that gold reserves sitting a vote in England do not explain the strength of the city. It is foreign inflows resulting from streamlined export of gold through the Sami Jenfilet Gold Board. This, together with competent fiscal and monetary coordination between Dr. Atufos and Johnson Siama, are yielding a good currency outcome. Richard is struggling with the fact that the choice Ghanaians made at the polls in December is having a direct positive effect on the economic lives. He should use his speaking time to increase the volume of Dr. Mahmoud Bamia's apology for his unforgivable failures as head of the economic management team. Please, so why are NPP lawyers and members the ones defending the beleaguered suspended Chief Justice? I don't get it. Are there non-partisan lawyers in Ghana? Are there no non-partisan lawyers in Ghana? The collusion is rather telling. He's just explained. This is protecting democracy and protecting the judiciary. Richard, thank you very much for
thank you kindly
for your time. Richard Ahangba, is a member of, in fact, the Director of Communications of the MPP, and also Frederick Ntiamwa is a member of the NDC's Communications.